So this week, mostly we can spend on uh, say review or uh, addressing your questions. Uh, However, I would like to touch upon D2D communication little bit uh, in the early part of our class today, and then we'll do a demonstration of Excel. Okay, and thereafter we can receive your questions. Okay, for D2D, I have uploaded the selected pages of 5G that we have covered, and also a couple of figures we covered from some other source. And so I uploaded a file named 5G course set. Okay. One more thing. At the end part of the lectures, okay, I uploaded 4 lectures, uh, and at the end of the fourth one, I was discussing HARQ, and right after the discussion, I figured that I mean I s- I mean the way I explained uh, actually would mean something wrong. It's about the number of HRQ processes. In the case of 5G, the number has been increased to 16. It was 8 before, but it's like but I was talking about the round trip time, but it actually uh, is not higher because of the round trip time. Okay, so please uh, use this corrected explanation. The round trip time is less for 5G. That's true because the processing time is less now. The processors are faster at both ends, and the propagation time can also be little less because of the smaller cell size. But the reason the HRQ processes are higher is that now you have allocations uh, symbol wise. Okay, uh, in the case of LTE, the resource allocations were subframe based. Okay, you have to think of another subframe for your next allocation. At every subframe, you can have new allocations, but you have complete liberty in the case of 5G. Anytime you can allocate, you can have resource allocation. You can have frequent core sets or PDCCH locations, and the PDCCH can indicate the resources at any position. I mean, it's now counted in terms of symbols, not subframe. Okay, so you may remember that in the early part of our discussion of 5G, I was saying that there is no concept of 5G subframe. Actually, there is. There is the term subframe is still there, but the point of difference is that now the subframe uh, is not used for the purpose of resource allocation. Okay, rather anytime in the slots you indicate the locations of core set, and from core set you just indicate which symbol would start the downlink or uplink transmission. Anyway, so since you can have allocations anytime, you can have so many allocations. You can have uh, very the allocations very closely located to each other in the time domain. So it's possible that you have many different HRQ processes running simultaneously. That's why the number has been increased to 16. Okay, but within the round trip round round trip time, which is shorter, but within this shorter round trip time, you can have more concurrent HRQ processes. Anyway, so uh, it's, we have I think in most areas the Asr prayer at 4:15. So I think we can go uh, with our discussion and take the break later.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So D2D we will discuss, and but later we'll decide whether or not we will include it in our syllabus. Okay. D2D was introduced actually in release 12, but now release 16 is being released. Uh, but its implementation is late. Okay, and one of the major implementation or use case is V2X. Okay, uh, although sometimes I mean that is treated little differently, but in fact V2X uses the same kind of procedure. Okay, so now in the case of D2D, as I probably mentioned already, that you have data transfer directly between the UIs. Okay, and basically there are two modes of operation. In one case, you have, I mean the I mean it is completed, both the devices completely under the control of network. In the other case, you uh, can have discovered yourself, uh, can get discovered yourself. Okay, I mean you uh, even may be out of coverage area. Okay, or both the devices may not be under cellular coverage, but they can identify the presence of another device, and they can start data transfer. So this second type, I mean, in this case, one of the devices can also be under network coverage, or even this technology you can use when both the devices are under coverage. So the technology you can use within coverage area or without coverage area. So that is uh, since you are using your own discovery method, it's called D2D discovery, and the other method is the typical D2D communication. Now, in this case, uplink or downlink terms are become vague because they will communicate with each other. Okay, both the devices have the same kind of states, right? In the topology, you so which one you would call? Say you have device A and B. Say I, uh, um, A and B, two devices are communicating with each other. So which one you would call? Say A sending data to B, B sending data to A. So which one you would treat as downlink or uplink? So instead, the term side link is used. Neither downlink nor uplink. The term side link is used. And the term commonly used is PROXI, proximity services, because D2D connectivity or D2D is designed only for the cases when the two devices are closely located. Their physical locations are very close. Only then D2D is efficient. Okay, so it's called proximity services, or in short, PROXI. The term PROXI is very common. And I've uploaded this. It's a, I mean, book chapter. Uh, Now the communication can have, I mean, all these possibilities that both the devices are within coverage area. One of the devices out of coverage, so it's then called partial coverage, or both the devices are out of coverage. Okay, they are located in different cells or within the same cell. And to make it possible, the synchronization, we know that that is used, and that is used for uh, time reference also. So these synchronous signals the device can generate. Okay, so if your device is within coverage, you can generate the synchronous, that is called side-link synchronous signal. And another device which is out of coverage will receive that and use it as a timing reference, and then a communication can be established. Okay, and that can work if, even if both the devices are out of coverage. You generate is the synchronous signal. Okay, so other devices around, one of the devices will generate, and when other devices can listen to that signal, they will tune to that, they will align with that signal, and then D2D communication can initiate. Okay, so I mean, of course, the ordinary synchronous signals uh, can still be there, like A and B are using the ordinary synchronous signals from sig- base station A or base station B. But for communication, for D2D communication between them, they are using the synchronization signal generated by themselves for the purpose of side link. Okay, so this this is dedicated for the purpose of side link, and the relevant configurations are made on SIP 18 and SIP 19 for those two types. Okay, the network configures uh, for those two types, side link discovery or communication. However, you may be using D2D out of coverage, but you should use the devices use the configurations for D2D it received last from SIP type 19. Okay, so I mean this SIP type 18 or 19 configurations, it is stored, and even if when they're out of coverage, they use them. The architecture is, actually you have communication between yourselves, and the other part is not interesting. You are connected to the core network, and the you have new channels for side-link operation. Like we spoke of PDCCH, right? And data channel for our regular. For side-link, you have different control channels for resource allocation, which is called PSCCH. Instead of PDCCH, you have physical side link control channel, PSCCH. Also, you have physical side link, I mean, you have separate data channels, okay, for side link communication, PSSCH, and physical side link shared channel, PSSCH, and physical side link control channel, PSCC. So PSCCH allocates your resources for PSSCH, but PSCCH appears uh, at some regular intervals. Okay, it's not that frequent as you have for PDCCH. PSCCH takes on, I mean, that's transmitted on some resources which are much less frequent, and its configuration is signal on SIP type 18. Okay, SIP type 18 tells you how PSCCH will be. So you use that when you use the typical D2D communication. Okay, typical. The other form is you're not using the control of network. You are communicating yourself under your control. Okay, so these two types. Okay, either you are completely under control, then network will tell you which resources. I mean, both the devices may be under the coverage area and maybe using the. So these are actually somewhere it is told. I don't remember. These are actually called two. I mean, mode one and mode two. Mode one and mode two. In the case of mode one, the network allocates you resources. Okay, fixed resources like the typical company, and that resources you have to use for your side link. The other option is you decide. Okay, that is called mode two, and mode two you can use in out of coverage area. Mode one you have to use in RC connected state. Yeah, the devices have to be in RC connected state, and then they can use mode one. Okay, data is transferred between themselves under mode one when you are uh, I mean, the resource allocation directly signaled by the network. But when you decide your resources, okay, that you can use in both RC ideal and RC connected area. Okay, the specification allows you to use even in RC connected area. So, yeah, so but in I mean, the first option is not available for RC idle. Okay, so out of coverage area, RC idle state, whatever you can. So this shows how PSCCH resources are allocated, and then from there, those. Okay, and the point is, it gives you the network. PSCCH can give you something called TRP table, where you you will be uh, I mean, in that case, you decide your resources. But actually, you have to, when you uh, decide your resource allocation, then the problem is the chance of collision, right? The chance of collision. Other people may also use that. So what the network gives some TRP table. Okay. So that is signaled, and the last seed message uh, gives you TRP table, okay, which you can use even when you go out of coverage or you are using it in RC idle mode. In that TRP table, some resources are indicated that you can use this set of resources, and one row give you will indicate that this is the set that you can use. Zero means you cannot, one means you can. There will be another row which gives you another set. A third row gives you another set. Okay. So the two devices, both the devices may have received the same TRP table. So what you do when you want to communicate, you use you indicate one of the rows from the TRP, and you indicate using TRPI. Okay. The uh, I mean the index with which row you are using. In in that row, of course, a set of resources are allowed to use, indicated by one. From this one indicated, I mean the resource you are allowed, you will be allowed to use only four resource blocks, not more than that. Okay. So that another guy who may also be using the same row may not have little chance to collide with you. Okay. So one of the, I mean, out of these indications, you will be selecting randomly four resource blocks, and then okay. So someone else who may be also using the same TRPI will like I mean hopefully use some other set. But if there is some collision that you have to manage by upper layers. Okay. I mean whenever you have uh, uh, your resource allocations are not contention free, you use the I mean scope of contention, then there are chances of collisions that you have to manage. Okay. So I think that is pretty much we can discuss for D2D, and see this mode 1 and mode 2. Yeah, silent mode. Okay. In the case of you see communication mode 1 and mode 2. Okay. So it explains these two modes of operation. The same two modes when you use for vehicular communication. Okay. V2X means, I mean, you have data transfer between two uh, two nodes where one of them is a vehicle. Okay, so vehicle to pedestrian, vehicle to another vehicle, V2V, or vehicle to some infrastructure, V2I. So in that case, you also have similar two different modes of operation. Either the resources allocated by the network or you decide yourself. But then the modes are called mode 3 and mode 4. Okay. The same two modes, which are called mode 1 and mode 2 for D2D, are then called mode 3 and mode 4 when it is V2X. Okay. Uh, okay, so I think we can stop here with our discussion. And any questions?
Yes, sir.
By the way, I have got typhoid. Okay, I mean, recently, I mean, after diagnosis, there's the conclusion from the doctor, and I'm on antibiotics now. Uh, I, I mean, I was actually scared, and I wasn't going to the diagnostic centers, okay, or to doctors, uh, just being scared of corona. That simply delayed my treatment. Okay, uh, more than 2 months, I've been suffering from this fever. Uh, so I could have taken treatment earlier, but my uh, because of the cornea fear, I I got late. So anyway, uh, we will take a break and uh, so let us come back after the break. I'll do a short Excel demonstration, inshallah. After the any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll be right back after Asr prayer, inshallah.
Sir, SQL was a think of our lab, right, sir?
Yeah, but I mean later we just changed our mind, right? We uh, now we are now including it in our theory. But well, uh, if you want, we can exclude it from our syllabus. Okay. So it's a demonstration. It's a part of our theory for now. Uh, because but uh, y- I mean, you may not be tested on it. Okay. So let us look at it. So now, okay, let me show you what devices I have. I have this phone connected. Uh, I mean, for the purpose of the use of Xcal, we purchased at our laboratory the Samsung S10 Plus, and we purchased a GPS
Sir,
device.
is this phone like for IoT?
Yeah, I mean, IoT laboratory purchased it, the telecom laboratory. When it purchased the software, it also purchased these two things: the a GPS device. Okay, uh, it is connected at the USB port, and this phone. Okay, the Samsung S10 Plus. Actually, our license for Xcal is for Samsung Exynos chipset, uh, and this this phone has the Exynos chipset, so it can this, the logging tools have some negotiation with the chipset vendors. Okay, because they have to release the messages to the logging tools. Okay, so they have a negotiation. They have some payment for the services. Okay, so the logging tool makes their business, but they can do so because the phone release the messages to the software. Okay, so
Sir, can
the
we do this simulation on our own? Like we don't have this particular phone.
yeah, we of course you can. The license has to match your chipset. Like if it is Qualcomm license, then it will work with Qualcomm chipset phones, and if it is say Exynos or something, it has to match. I mean, the logging tool has to have the prior negotiation with the chipset services, chipset
Also, sir,
vendor.
we don't have the money to buy the phone as well as the software. So, like, we are going to use the
No, it
pirated
doesn't have to
version.
be an expensive phone. You see, it doesn't have to be an expensive phone. I mean, the software costs a lot of money. It's true. Um, we For us, it took around 5 lakh, but the normal price is around 15 lakh. As an academia, they gave us good discount, but the commercial software costs around 15 lakh. Uh, so that costs money, but the phone doesn't. You can connect just any phone. But we purchased a good phone, just expecting that we might not miss anything from our 4G services. Okay, so and we are already spending around 5 lakh for the software. Okay, so the cost of the phone was not a big deal for us. Uh, Anyway, so let's uh, now we are starting our demonstration with our uh, mobile phone on Wi-Fi. It is now on Wi-Fi. And you see what we have here. The phone is now in RC idle state, and it's receiving the paging messages only. It you know wakes up at every DRX cycle and reads the paging message, and also it reads system information message on and off. In the paging message, what do you have? You have the uh, STMZ of the guys whom it is looking for, right? So it can be empty sometimes, or it can be there can be multiple STMZ if the network is looking for somebody. Okay, but it is not the STMZ of our phone. Okay? Nobody is calling this phone right now. Uh, by the way, the GPS device. Okay, I mean before the demonstration today, I was testing, and while I was doing so, the GPS device was working fine. But now it is not. At the left bottom corner, you see the red marked GPS location. I mean, it is not showing any location really, and it is red marked, indicating that the GPS device is not detected. Okay, so I'm sorry, I don't know. A while ago, I was trying the. I'm using the same configuration, but I don't know why it is not the GP. So when the GPS device is detected, the GPS information is collected uh, by the tool, okay, from this device, and then you can also use, say, this map. Okay, I mean when I was using the map, I mean it was showing my area, but the the same area is not shown, but our device is not detected. Okay, so uh, I mean it was then blinking. Okay, at here I'm located around here. So it was then blinking here, but now the the GPS information, the tool is not receiving, so nothing is blinking. So when people do drive tests, they have the GPS. Usually they place it on the top of the car and do the test inside, and they can see where you're moving. Um, Prior to the drive test, they set the routes for the test, and also they, I mean, the tool can incorporate the base station locations, uh, including the PCI, okay, or base station information, the PCI and their coordinates, okay. Um, so, so the tool locates the base station around, and it also shows a connection, a line. It draws a line between you, I mean the device, your UV, and the base station which you are connected to, which is serving you. Of course, you always treat yourself served by a base station, right? So it shows a line to that. Okay, it knows which PCI you are uh, now treating as the serving cell, which PCI you are now camped on. Okay, so it can draw a line. And if there is a handover, the handover, I mean, you change the line. You can see that as you are driving. Okay, with the drive tests, you can't see the handover. And when you do the drive test, you see that uh, the connecting lines switch from one base station to another. Okay, I did a lot, quite a few tests for, uh, I mean, not for regular testing purpose, but to check a few things. And those are 3G days. So in the case of 3G, multiple cells it connect to at the same time because there is a soft handover. So different color lines are used, showing connection to two, three, and even four cells. It could connect sometimes. Okay, and it makes connection. It breaks connection. Uh, and at the same time, the signaling messages are important. Okay, to see what is going on. So on this STMC. Now, if I start the mobile data, okay, it will move to RC connected state. Okay, and if I don't do any activities, then it will come back to RC idle state. Okay, so now I'm stopping my Wi-Fi and starting mobile data. Okay, now see, uh, you have those activities. The security at the apps layer is created. Okay, we explain this security activation. Okay, and the RC connection configuration activates activates the uh, dormant bearer. Okay, the bearer was there, but you send service request also. Okay, and it should be somewhere service request. Yeah, service request. You have a default bearer. Okay, as on LT, you're always on IP. These terms were the major terms in the early days of. Okay, but when you just reactivate. Okay, then after a while you go back to RC idle state. Again, the bearer would become, when there is no activity, the bearer will become dormant. Okay, uh, so you can see RC connection release. Okay, and you see that it is reading. It is reading. It is now in RC idle state, but it is still reading me. It is reading SIP type 1. In SIP type 1, you see the PLMN. Okay, P- PLM, MCC, MNC, the tracking area code. You see, I didn't cheat. What I told in this course is correct. You can see the tracking area code. Yeah. Okay. The cell identity, it says PCI it captures, but later it. I probably told you that it is a long cell identity. The whole identity is 28 bits long. Okay, so the cell identity it broadcast on SIP type 1, and the cell selection parameters. QRX lev mean. Okay, the minimum uh, level you have to select a cell. Okay, to camp on a cell for suitability criteria. And this periodicity is for SIP messages. These are for SIP messages. Um, what else? Okay. So SIP type 1 you have to read before you can camp on a network. And now, okay, previously there was a service request message, okay, which is used to activate uh, a dormant bearer.
Sir, is it possible
And,
to check the
and
EMZ of a phone through this
no,
software?
no, it's not possible. You can read STMC. See, you can read STMC of even other phones in the south. As you are reading paging message, the network is looking for somebody else here. Somebody else is receiving a call, and here is his STMC. But that doesn't help you. That doesn't help you in the respect that you cannot actually eavesdrop. You cannot overhear. What will you do with this? This is temporary identity. Anytime it can be changed. Okay. But now this measurement report, you see, when you are in RC connected state, then the measurement reports will be sent. In RC idle state, the network does, your phone doesn't send anything. It does, it performs measurements for itself, for self selection purpose. But as long as you are in RC connected state, see, you are releasing RC connection. Here you are setting up RCs, RC connection, right? So RC connection setup. This the message that I told you, Rach. Okay, you're sending Rach, and you are sending. Uh, okay, can you see? Can you see? This is the service request message. This is a NAS message to you, and it indicates that which KSI for NAS. I mean, I told you that there is a KSI here to KSI SME, which is not KSME, KSI SME, to indicate that the same uh, security context can still be used. Okay. So the next message, this is an internal message, but this one RC preamble is actually over the air message. You send RC preamble, then you receive the in the RC connection procedure, you receive a RAR message, random access response. Okay, so that is the next message. Oh, it is taking me. See, RAT message. Okay, then you say this is message 3. This message 3, which includes RC connection setup. Okay, then RC connection setup complete, and that message carries the service request message. The NAS message piggybacked on the RC connection setup complete message. Okay, this is message 3, RC connection setup. Then you are sending RC connection complete message, and that is carrying the NAS message service request. So the network behaves accordingly. It first asks what your capabilities are. Okay, it checks capability. It asks for the EU capability information. There is a way I can pause. Let me see. Pause. Yeah, give me a second. Okay. No, that's actually pause for login. You know, this one, that doesn't help me here. See, there is UE capability inquiry. It sends ask for UE capability inquiry. Okay, let me replay. Let work file. If I mean, it is a file I recorded. Okay, then because it pulls me uh, when I am doing a live test, it takes me. Like if I see as connection setup, then it asks for UE capability information. Okay, tell me. The network says uh, what capabilities you have. Then you send him UE capability information that I support 3G and 4G Ultra. I support 3G and I support 2G. 2G, okay. Uh, CS, yeah, PS, both I support. It tells the phone tells it's what it supports, and it's UE category. Probably I told you what that is. Okay, you see UE category 4, UE category 4. Now you can see it's this UE category. Online, I mean, you can check the from this spec the capabilities for UE category. UE category 3, 5. These came out in the early days of LTE phones. Okay. Okay. Then security is activated in the AS layer, and then the network sends the RC configuration message, which is ciphered, and integrity protected message. Okay. Now then you are activating the radio bearer. Okay. And then you have to specify the RLC mode. You see, in both uplink and downlink, it is acknowledged mode. Okay, it tells you, it configures. And the logical channel priority, I mean, this thing I didn't explain, but when you have multiple logical channels actually map to radio bearers. Okay, so you have certain, right? I mean, this thing, bucket set duration, all these things you can find out, uh, explained in my book. And the DRB identity. Okay, I told you the DRB bearers have an identity from 1 through 8. Header compression is not used. The PTCP layer optionally can use header compression. Like TCP/IP headers can be compressed to very small uh, field, small length, and for DRX you see the configuration. Say for short DRX cycle, the length is 20 subframes, 20 milliseconds. For long DRX cycle, then there is the offset. On duration is 2 frames. DRX inactivity timer. Okay, explain that in the case of when you have RC connected state, if you don't have any data transfer for a period, okay, then you start the short cycles first. That period is 80 subframes. So network configures this thing. Okay. So for RC connected, these are for RC connected state, and um, it also configures how many shots. Probably this guy tells you how, I mean, how many short DRX cycles you run before you start the long disk. But I think for this 320 subframe is the length of long DRX cycle. Okay, and this one means that you run one short DRX cycle before you start long DRX cycles. Okay, these things we don't explain T ordering or status quo a bit, but if you read the book authored by Muhammad T. Kausar, then you can easily understand what they mean. Okay. Oh, you know why I praise myself? Did I tell you? Do you guys know why sometimes I praise myself? Because other people don't do that. Okay, I have to do it myself. Um, this is for measurement purpose. Okay. Uh, how you trigger your uh, measurement, how you send your measurement reports. Okay. You see A3 offset value. I told you that event A3 is most commonly used. You see that is configured here. It should use event A3, and there is something called A3 offset, which is like we are explaining for heterogeneous network, especially we are explaining the uh, I mean that we called CSO, cell selection offset, okay, to bias. Okay, so this is actually a margin that you use between that when you compare the two cells. But as you uh, select a cell for I mean to start triggering even measurement report, okay, but that one you can use uh, to bias a cell. Okay, okay, and anyway, so this is a measurement report. You see, it is sending RSRP and RSRQ values. But I told you that these are some index which corresponds to some range of uh, received power level and received CINR level. Now this is for the measurement of primary cell. I mean your serving cell. It also sends measurement report for the neighboring cell that we can see here. Okay, now we will do a okay. Let's go back to our live tests. Stopping replay, and so now let us make a call. Okay. Uh, give me one of your numbers. I'll call you. Yeah, on the in the chat.
Can I give my number?
Yeah, please in the chat box write down your number. In the chat box, please write down yours.
I've written the number.
Okay, thank you. It's, okay, let me save it first. Give me a second. Okay, now we will. Okay, at the moment we are in, yeah, we have come back to RC idle state. Now I'll make a call and please see what happens. It will make, it will first go to RC connected state. I'm making the call. Okay, so now you see alerting means it is ringing at the other end. Don't pick up yet. Alerting means it is ringing. And you see measurement reports, it is sending, okay, it is sending measurement reports which includes information for neighboring cells. And alerting means it is ringing at the other end. Setup means you're sending the call request, okay, and this message should include your phone number. You see, this is what your number is. Now everybody would come to know his number. The phone is sending setup message, which includes the phone number at the other end. Okay, then the network forwards the request. Okay, so it will again come back to RC idle state. Okay, suddenly it is SIP type 2. Okay, now we can see SIP type 2. It configures many different parameters, like say for HARQ, how many times you can send. I mean, if the whole thing fails, then again you can send. I mean, there is a maximum limit. Okay, that limit is given here. When you are say using RATCH, then the step size for power ramping is given here. These are also for response window. These are all for RATCH procedure. This whole thing is for RATCH. Number of preambles out of 64, you have 52 for this contention based. Okay, and say SIP type 2 configures most of the things for say for push, we didn't discuss power, uh, power control. I wanted to, but actually I forgot. So there's some configuration related to power. Yeah. This reference signal power is also used for uplink power calculation. Okay. I wanted to discuss these things too. But in chapter 17 of my MOOC, you can actually fi- find out what it means. Now it is SIP type 3, and I say that in SIP type 3 you have a lot of information about for cell selection, cell selection. From SIP type 3 to SIP type 8, okay, mostly cell selection, cell array selection. And for T reselection, UTRA, okay, we uh, the value okay is given here. The QRX let mean is intra-search. I also told you about scaling factor medium, high, 0.75. I told you that you can use 1, 0.25, 0.5, these values. So it is using 0.75. Okay. Now I'll make again call. So after I mean there is an alert message. Alert means the other side has the phone ringing. There will be, if the other side picks, then it will create a message connect. Okay. So I mean this phone will receive the message named connect. These are all NAS messages. And then the phone will send a message connect acknowledgement. Okay. So that will be an uplink message. It will receive, Ratul will receive, this time Ratul please receive the call and then we'll receive a message connect. Okay.
Sir.
Okay, so let me first go back to idle state, then I'll make the call again. But it moves to 3G. It is supposed to do that. Isn't it doing that? Yeah, it is. You see, it is moving to 3G to set up the call. Actually, the setup, the connect, acknowledge, and the messages we are talking about are all meant to be 2G or 3G. These messages are used for 2G and 3G. I mean, if you use voice over LTE, then it is handled differently. SIP messages are used instead. Okay, to handle the voice session. Okay, now I'll make the call again. Okay, I'll make a call first, and then thereafter we'll do another session while Rapid will make a call. Okay. So you see, same service request. That that service request tells you that, I mean, this is an internal message though. Then the setup message is over the message, giving you the number, giving the network the number. So now alerting. Okay. We're already in RC connected state. So yeah, now you see connect message. It's a downlink message. Now we are connected. Okay. Uh, Ratul, can you hear me on your phone? You can, right? Okay. So now we are connected. We have voice transfer, and the voice transfer begins after this connect acknowledgement. Okay. You receive. I mean, you pick up, then the network sends a message connect, and then this phone sends a message connect acknowledge, then and the network receives that, and then voice transfer starts flowing. Now, this measurement reports should include reports for both serving cell and the neighboring cells. Measurement control, how the measurement reports should be sent. Okay. And here RadioWare setup is complete. Yep. RadioWare setup is complete here. CPitch, these are, I mean, channels for 3G. Okay. Mm, I mean, they call RSCP and ECNR, I mean, to indicate actually the signal power and the CINR. You see the PSC, okay, this in the PSC is 198. Mm, there should be report for different cells. It is for readable configuration for the I mean 3G bearer. Here also you have RLC mode AM. Okay. Okay. DRX coefficients. Okay, now let me disconnect. Okay, so I'll end the call and you'll see call release. Okay, let's see release. It will thereafter it has come back to it will come back to 4G. I've received some SMS indicating the current balance. Okay. Shortly it will get back to LTE. These are for SMS. SMS also uses this kind of, I mean, like for our voice call, there is acknowledgement. I'm still on 3G now. 3G are idle state. Yeah, just come back to 4G. From 3G idle to 4G idle. Okay, and it has done tracking re-update. The release message, okay, the call release, there is a NAS message for call release, okay, that initiates mm, it pulls me hard. Connect, acknowledge. Yeah, release. Okay, now Ratul, you make a call and a paging message will initiate the call. Okay. I mean actually it is now receiving paging message, but these the STMZ on this paging message are not matching its own STMZ. Okay. But when you will make a call, the paging message will match and it will actually send it will initiate random access procedure. Okay. So please make a call.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I'm taking the call because this connect message. Okay, I have sent. Now it is uh, uplink message. It was before downlink message when uh, Ratul received. Now it is uplink message. And now the connect acknowledge message is downlink. Okay, so it's the other way around. And you see this routing area update. These are like tracking area updates in analogous to this alerting message. It starts playing when this phone starts ringing. It sends a message alerting, and it when it receives the call. Okay, we know that our phone shows the number of the caller guy, but when does it do that? It starts showing the number after receiving this message setup. Okay, this message includes Ratul's number. I think everybody has already memorized Ratul's number. Okay, so after receiving this message, then this phone sends a message call confirmed. Okay, and but actually then you haven't done anything. Yeah, the phone is just sending a message that it has received. This is like an acknowledgement of the reception of the setup message. But with alerting message, it starts ringing. With when you pick up, it sends connect message. And you see the before you set up the bearer, okay, this security is activated in the S layer. The security bearer is activated, and then radio bearer. You see the splitting factor is 128 in downlink and 64 in uplink for the voice call. You see, can you see that? So from the message here, you can find these splitting factors. So the voice call was using. Are you still connected? Oh, yeah. Ratul, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We still
So we are
connected.
we are using 128 spreading factor in downlink and 64 spreading factor in uplink. Okay. Are you happy with that? Okay. From now on, when you'll be talking with anybody, you should be thinking of these things. What may be your spreading factors, how the scrambling is done, all these things. So you can forget what you may be talking about. This guy is sending. Oh, yeah, this is a good example. Here you see it is sending report for two different cells. Uh, the cell with PSC 198, and for this one, the signal level is indicated by 31, and CIN is indicated by, they call you see by NO. Okay, this 35. And for another cell, 142, RCP is 40, is by not is 2. Okay. Based on this report, the network decides who will be connected and who will not. You see, uh, I mean, we had some pause, okay, and we lost the bearer. Then the bearer was again set up, and this time we have got spreading factor 64 in both directions. Okay, so if you pause for a while, then you lose the bearer. The bearer will again be set up. Mm,
So if we make this call in rush hour, our spreading factor would have been a lot higher, right, sir?
not a lot higher. The voice for voice call is not higher than 128. Okay,
Yes.
uh, so your requirement also does matter. Okay, for low data rate applications, it can be higher than that. And usually data applications need even faster, so even lower spreading factor. Voice is one of the examples of lowest data rate.
Sir, what will happen if I send message instead of calling someone?
SMS?
SMS.
Yeah. Then you'll see SMS, CP, SMS acknowledgement. Okay, do that. Send me an SMS.
Should I hang up?
You can do it along with the voice call. Yeah. Do you see? SMS data. This is, it has received SMS. Then the phone sends an acknowledgement that I have received. Okay. And then it also sends another message, and it receives. Uh, okay. The second part I don't remember now, but in my book I explained the SMS services in chapter 20, 21. Okay, there you can see where you have you have another set of SMS. Okay. In the early implementations of 2G or 2G or the early days of 3G, this acknowledgement was not there. Okay, for SMS. So for SMS, when you send SMS, the sender could not know whether that reached the other end or not. Okay, so that feature was added later.
Kind of like UDP.
Yeah, but UTP is at the uh, at a layer in higher. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is taken care of within our cellular protocols, the NAS layer. Okay. So, but it is similar to UDP concept. Yeah, it was similar to UDP concept. So now it is similar to TCP concept. Okay. Oh, who made the call? You or me?
Sir, I made the call.
You made the call. Oh, so you are the guy who is paying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then let's go for a while. Okay. Uh, okay. So this time you can disconnect the call, I think.
Okay, sir.
You see the disconnect message. Okay. This is also a NAS message. And then you send from my side, there will be an acknowledgement. It releases the resources. But I can't go. It pulls me. Okay. See? After the disconnect, that message followed by release message. Okay. So that
So, what will be the paging message be if I make a WhatsApp call?
that won't change. You just have, you are in RC connected state. Okay. So let's make a WhatsApp call. So you'll be put into RC connected state if you use data, and the default, actually the default, as long as you are in RC connected state, you can use mobile data anyway, and your default bearer can be used. So you may not need a separate bearer. So let me make our WhatsApp call, or you call me using WhatsApp now.
Okay, sir.
I'm now in RC idle, right? Okay. So this time we are the I mean there must be a paging message. Okay. I don't know which one, if it whether it is this one or this one, but there must be a paging message on which the STMC is matching my phone. Okay. And in response to that message, the network is sending uh, this latch preambles or going through the random access procedure, and then security mode was activated. RC connection. I mean, we set up a radio bearer. You see again, acknowledge mode used for RC. The radio bearer is set up, and then you are in RC connected state. That bearer is used for data transfer. Okay, so now you are in RC connected. As long as we are not terminating the call, we will be in RC connected state. Okay, but the paging messages it will still be receiving because there can be additional call request, right? If I was a corporate guy, I wish I could be. Then I would be receiving so many calls. That so there should be provision for that. So this was also added first in 3G that you can have a paging message while you already have you still listen to page message while you have some radio bearer active. Okay, but 3G then introduced a second type of paging. They called it paging type 2. Okay, which was used for that I mean in RC connected state for use in RC connected state. Okay, so now you see RC connection release you are not getting any anymore, right? So we will you can hear me, right, Ratul, on WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, do other students trust you or they don't? Just kidding. Um,
No, sir, I don't trust him.
no, you may trust them, but I wonder if they trust you. Okay, but I think they all trust you more than they trust me. Okay, now we will terminate the call, and soon after we do that, we will move back, uh, move to RC idle stage. Okay, I have terminated the call. Yeah, now you see RC connection release. We have got right. So and you know even when we were on RC connected state, the resources are allocated as and when necessary. When I was telling you something, there are some voice packets ready for transmission, then resources are allocated for them. That's the beauty of this packet switching. Okay. Unlike when we had a voice call on 3G, okay, the spreading factor you're allocated. We always had that. That spreading factor, that OVSF code was not allocated to anybody until we terminated the call. But in the case of LT, the resources are just allocated when the packets are transmitted. Okay. So if that saves a lot of resources, especially when uh, when a guy talks to his wife. Okay, this is usually, it's a one directional traffic, right? One directional flow of voice packets. So in the other direction, there's a lot of saving of resources. Another guy
Yes.
can maybe allocated. Another guy may be allocated those resources. I think this is why 5G uh, uh, added the feature of SDL and SUL. Okay, so they can allow the guys to use SDL and their wives to use SUL.
Sir, but unfortunately, we don't have any experience to talking with other genders.
Well, but definitely you are dreaming of that. In a year, you are gonna graduate, and then you'll get lucrative jobs, and then you will get married. And
Yes, sir, pray for us.
So easier said than done.
yeah, I know that. In third year and fourth year, that's the problem. The students are not enough attentive. In the classes, they keep dreaming of graduating and then getting jobs and then getting married. And some of you may even be dreaming of having kids, right?
No, sir. Some of us are dreaming about like going on a world tour or something.
Oh, okay. Very good. Okay. Mm, what else? Well, is it already time for Maghrib?
Yes, sir, it's almost.
Okay. Do you have any questions anyway?
Yes, sir, about the upcoming final exams.
Yeah. Well, we are not stopping everything. If you may have definitely questions as you go through the stuff. And for 5G, see, I was covering from the book. Um, uh, but I have covered, in my discussion, I have covered only a small part. Your book content is richer than our discussion. Okay, so you'll be tested on what we discussed, not everything from the book. And by the way, tomorrow I'm planning to address your questions, but I wondered if you have questions ready for tomorrow or not. Do you
Yes,
have?
sir, we
Sir,
are
we
going
have
to
lots
watch
of
the
messages,
videos
sir.
yet.
Probably you need more time to go through the video that I uploaded today, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
prepare your questions. So then let us schedule some later time slot. I'll be in touch with Samir, and so I think we may not need meet tomorrow. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we
As a
are
syllabus
Sir,
is
I had a question, sir. Hello?
discussion about questions. Okay.
No, sir, I had just one query, sir.
Oh, you have a query? Sure, go ahead.
Sir, we know that you are going through a very bad phase, but sir, if you get, inshallah, you will get, get better with time from now, as you have seen, Doctor. Sir. Our finals are coming, sir, actually, and we haven't got our mid marks yet. So
Yeah,
that is a bit
that's
problem for us.
that's a big concern. Yeah. Oh,
So if that could
I
be after you get better, obviously, sir. Now it's
yeah
not the time.
yeah. I hope to improve because I recently started my right medication. Okay, uh, and hope to be uh, anyway. Inshallah, in a few days. Inshallah, in a few days, I'll publish the grades
Yes,
of
thank you, sir.
midterm. Okay, and anything else that we can talk about?
So sir, the syllabus for the final exam will be up to whatever discussed today, right, sir?
Um, what do you think?
Sir, I think it's better if you can include the recording and today's class for a separate quiz,
I think
like
I mean
not in the finals, because
yeah
that
I
will be a
mean
lot of burden.
well, the recordings, please go through the recordings. The recordings are probably not something that is too difficult. Okay, you can learn the basic 5G stuff. I mean the differences between LTE and 5G. Okay, so the 5G fundamentals are probably covered well there. So please go through them, and I think we can include them in the syllabus. But the class today we have had was not well organized, or we touched upon many different things. So let us exclude the class today, class that we have just finished. But the recordings on 5G, I think we can include.
Sir, I mean, like, can we include it in a separate quiz after the finals?
Separate quiz. I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense that we have a separate quiz. I mean, quiz, something that we are not including in final, but including in some other tests. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Uh,
Sir, because
well,
like we already have a lot to cover and the time is very short, so that would be possible.
In your exam,
my,
sir, in your exam in final, we have only one day of, sir. So we have a huge syllabus to finish, sir.
okay.
That would reduce some load, sir, if that could be done.
I mean, have I covered already too much? Do you think it is because the this time the syllabus we are not including anything before the mid. The syllabus starts from what we uh, discussed after mid, right?
Sir, the thing is, the semester has already been shorted, and the questions of every courses are being tough than the earlier years, sir, because of the online exams, sir. So it's been pretty tough for us to focus on
Yeah,
every course
but
similarly, sir.
my point is syllabus. The syllabus has to have enough uh, material, and since we are dropping, I mean this time we are dropping everything before midterm. Normally, every course includes that. Okay, so nothing before mid will be included. You'll be tested on everything only after mid. So uh, I think it makes sense if we include the stuff, the 5G fundamentals, the recorded videos. Well, probably you may go through that stuff. Okay, it's not too difficult. You go through the stuff, and then let us talk about it. Okay, we'll meet on. I'll talk to Samuel later about it. I can definitely exclude it, but you first please go through this recorded video, and then we'll decide. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Sounds good. Okay,
So
okay.
tomorrow we will be having the class, sir.
So I think I mean the class tomorrow will not be useful, right?
Yes, sir.
So, but we can schedule another time slot later once we have some questions ready. Okay, Samir, please let me know uh, when the students are ready to do that. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Jazakallah for your time.